Good evening, and aloha from the Hokulani Imaginarium here in Kaneohe, Hawaii. Today, let's look at the planets, stars, and other sights to see in October's evening sky. First, here's a new one for us. You might be able to get a glimpse of the planet Mercury, the closest planet to the Sun. Here's Mercury at sunset today. It's not easy to see Mercury. It's usually just too close to the Sun. But this month, Mercury is at the point in its orbit called the greatest elongation, which means that, from our point of view, it looks to be as far from the Sun as it ever will. This means that, as it rises or sets, it will spend a good bit of time above the horizon after the Sun has just set, so we have a short chance to see it without the blinding sunlight. Have you ever seen what Mercury can look like through a telescope? Mercury, like Venus, goes through a whole set of phases like the Moon. Here, at greatest elongation, this phase is technically called a quarter phase, because we can see just 1/4 of the whole planet's surface lit up. Half of the planet, of course, is always lit by the Sun, but half of that half right now is facing away from us. If we looked each day, we'd see this quarter phase evolve into just a crescent phase. So we can say that on October 1st, Mercury is in the waning quarter phase.
Let's look at a wide view of the western sky again. On October 1st, about 6:30 p.m., Mercury just starts to be visible. By 6:45, it should be nice and bright, and around 10 degrees above the horizon. Soon, you might also see the familiar star Arcturus, Hokulani, appearing a little to the north, here. Arcturus will be a bit brighter than Mercury, higher in the sky, and a little to the north of west, unlike Mercury to the south of west. Let's watch where both Mercury and Arcturus are in the first 2 weeks of October. See how much higher the star is in the sky, and that it is always north of the Sun, whereas Mercury is south. As we get later into October, because Mercury is so close to the Sun, Mercury will appear later and lower on the horizon, until around October 15th, when Mercury only starts to appear at about 5 degrees above the horizon, and will soon be completely obscured as it continues around its orbit. And of course, please remember to be careful when looking at objects near the Sun. Use eye protection as necessary until the Sun has gone below the horizon. Let's get a little later in the evening now, and look at the rest of the sky just after 8 p.m.
Just after 8 p.m., there are 3 very bright objects that may be familiar to you from the last month. Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars are all still easily visible in the southern sky. As we turn towards the west, again, we have some other bright stars that we can again see overhead. Those are the 3 members of the summer triangle. The brightest, here, Vega, closest to the horizon. To Vega's left, towards the west, Altair. And to Vega's upper right, a bit towards the north, Deneb. Turning to the north, the Big Dipper is completely hidden from view. The North Star, Hokupa'a, is of course still visible, as is the Little Dipper. There's another recognizable constellation here in this northern autumn sky. Do you know any names for this shape? In European constellations, this would be Cassiopeia, the queen reclining on her throne. In Hawaii, this is the frigate bird, Iwa Keli'i, with its wings outstretched for sailing. Finally, Let's now turn and talk about what the moon is doing this month. As September ended, the moon was waxing towards full again. October's first full moon was on Thursday, October 1st, and rose just after sunset. On our screen here, you can see the October 1st full moon sharing the sky with the planet Mars to the lower left in this view. On Friday, October 9th, we saw the waning quarter, the last quarter moon. Then, a new moon occurs on October 16th, also a Friday. This new moon happens just a couple of hours after the moon passes the point in its orbit called lunar perigee. Perigee is the part of the moon's orbit that is closest to the Earth. It is where the moon's gravitational pull on us is the strongest. So, you should expect that high tides during this moon will be quite a bit higher than usual. These are the conditions for a spring tide. The waxing quarter moon will be seen on October 22nd, Thursday. It rises during the daytime, follows the sun closely, and sets around 9:45 p.m. While it is in the sky, it will be positioned next to Jupiter and Saturn, making for a nicely framed group photo. Finally, October's second full moon, which can be nicknamed a blue moon, comes on the last day of the month, Saturday, October 31st. That's right, for Halloween this year we will have a full moon. This moon will be visible all night on Halloween. Now, calling it a blue moon is just a nickname. There is no special color change happening to this moon. And now that the moon has traveled halfway around its orbit since lunar perigee, which happened near the October 16th new moon, this full moon will be near its farthest distance from Earth, part of the orbit we call lunar apogee. So the high tides on Halloween are not expected to be particularly higher than average. Thank you for watching and sharing this look at the October sky with us. Please stay safe and keep enjoying your night skies wherever you are. Until next time, aloha and good night.